Welcome to That Happiness Show. I am Gemma Fawcett, host and creator. I bring you my 25 years experience in finding happiness. You are the creator of your reality, and thus you do create your happiness too. This is no longer about chasing the dream, but learning to stand in your power and receive. I am frequency expert, artist, teacher, and grateful mommy, here to guide you with the tools, ideas, and education around raising your frequency, learning to be present, and finding the happiness you deserve. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, this is Gemma. Oh my gosh, I've been gone a week. I can't believe it. So, I know there was no warning on that, but I am back. It was circumstances that gave me the opportunity to practice compassion with myself for not doing my commitment, or not being able to do my commitment, and acceptance. So it was a wonderful time for me to do that. And yeah, it was just circumstances. So, so that's how that goes. When you can't do it, you can't do it. So today, what are we going to discuss? And there is just so much. I can't believe it. I had my own personal growth and shift this week, and I'd like to speak on that just because it really is relating to this idea that I'm always sharing, that when we up-level our lives, there are going to be these things that we are like holding back. And those things, no matter how insignificant they seem, have to be processed, have to be released. It's time. And when we do those releasings of those things that seem kind of small and insignificant, we find that we take these massive leaps. So let me come into that. Let me just share. So I was on the island, and a dear friend was kind of isolated and didn't have a birthday party. So I thought, well, you know what? I'll buy this person a cake and a gift, and I'll just surprise them and have a little tiny party for them. And so I did that, and it was wild because in hindsight, I can see that just the act of doing this was kind of subtly touching buttons. Like I was on the edge or the cusp of, do I do it? Do I not do it? Does it matter? And then I did choose to do it. And I did notice, like I said in hindsight, that my back started to hurt, my lower back. And that is my path of least resistance for where I give away my power. All right, that is my area. Some people, maybe it's losing their voice, or maybe it's some other illness acting up or something like that. Or maybe it's losing your money. So I know that my lower back is that place for me. And it was just a subtle hum, like just a sensitive hum. And I just noticed it. So it did get a little more activated on the island, that lower back thing. I did the little, personal party for this friend, and they really liked it. Now, the thing is, when I was doing it, when I don't know if it was when I, was setting up or when it was actually in flow, but I had this thought, like, what if this person did this for me? And the reason I had the thought, because I was just curious, like, what that would feel like. And what I got up was a lot of resistance. And it was a lot of resistance. So I realized I wouldn't like it. And I didn't like the resistance coming up. I could feel like this, I don't like this kind of feeling. I don't like this. I don't think I would like having someone give me a little party like this. But then the question would have been why? Because it's an innocuous thing. It's just not a big deal. So why would I care? And why would I, think they shouldn't do it? Because I believe if someone does something, they should do it, right? If they're doing it, then of course they should be doing it because that's real. That's what's happening. So I couldn't quite put my finger on it, right? But the thing I did notice was that the resistance came up. I thought it was a small thing. I didn't want to deal with it, so I pushed it away. I just kind of buried it because my thought was that at least I don't have to worry about it for many, many months because we're many, many, many months away from my birthday. So I wouldn't have to worry about it. Maybe by then it wouldn't be an issue because maybe he wouldn't even know when my birthday is, and it was like a story because of course this person is just not going to do that, right? It just was a story. Like Bella's tried to throw me parties. Ursula wanted to have a birthday party for me. Other friends have done this, and I've always kind of like pushed it away. Like just said, no, I don't want to do it. No, this doesn't make sense. It's, a lot of trouble for no reason. And I would come up with these reasons, and I really felt better with the reasons and not doing it than had we done it. It wasn't like I blew it off or made excuses, but then resented that we didn't do it or felt, like I missed out on something. I never did. So that kind of led me to think that this is the right path. So here I was with these thoughts. And, it's always like you manifest the world around you. So I manifested these thoughts, right? I manifested the whole situation, right? So I could have this moment, maybe. And I'm having this moment where I'm looking at it and I'm really just doing as much as I can to avoid it. So even to the point of saying, well, my birthday's so far away, this won't be an issue. Or I can deal with it later, right? Oh, that's a doozy. Now, this is where it comes back to. If stuff is coming up, we are really going to be empowered by dealing with it in this moment, because this is the only moment that exists. There is no future. There is no past. It's all happening right now. So what happened was I noticed that the next day I was creating chaos in my life. It was subtle. Let me tell you, it was subtle. For most people, it wouldn't even resemble chaos, but it felt like chaos in my body. It felt like a whirlpool was being charged up in my body that didn't feel good. And I felt also an immense amount of sadness coming up. But I was attributing it to the chaos I was creating rather than recognizing that the chaos was a reflection of the sadness, which was a byproduct of the thoughts I had about my birthday. All right? So the thoughts on my birthday brought up sadness, and the sadness brought up the chaos. And the chaos became a story. And then I attributed my sadness to that story. Now, do you see a pattern here? This is how the ego derails us from our truth. Because the ego put a loop in there. And the loop had nothing to do with the original thought. Are you seeing this? There is no way to get back to the original thought unless I got out of the loop. And being in loops is being in your box. All right, that's what you know. So I created this chaos and then attributed the sadness, which actually came before the chaos. But now I'm saying, no, the sadness is due to this chaos, this unmanageable situation that basically I created in my head because I created it in my head, but then I acted it out into my real world. So then I was kind of like playing as though I was a reactor to my world rather than a creator of my world. Now, this is really heavy stuff. So I get it if you don't follow it, but just really sit with that. We don't want to be reactors to our world. We don't want to be reactionary to our world because our world is created by us. And when the point that we start reacting to the world around us, we forget that we're creators. We forget that we create, and we create with those thoughts. Those thoughts that are running through our head create our world. And this is why I want to release the thoughts that no longer serve me. And every year when my birthdays come up, these thoughts of less than, these thoughts of being unaccepted or unnoticed or whatever, that my birthday brought up from my childhood, mind you, are what I was. The fact that my childhood made me feel that my birthday wasn't recognized, it wasn't allowed, it wasn't a time to celebrate me. I never got that. I got that it was okay to celebrate other people, but not myself. And so this is the message I carried forward, is that it wasn't for me. I wasn't okay to be celebrated. It wasn't okay to celebrate me. So every year I would re-experience that, but then push it down because it's like, what's the big deal? I don't want a birthday. And again, we do this reactionary cause and effect in this world rather than going back to the thought that we can now change to create a new present moment. So all of this happened. Now, it all happened so obviously within a couple days, like all this is happening. And then I was working on my studio on the island, which I'm reorganizing and creating all brand new. And I was working on my studio and I came across these slips of paper that I had written quotes on. I wish I had it to show you because it said exactly that. It said, when you are in resistance and you feel the pain, you create chaos to avoid the pain of the resistance. Holy moly. When I read that, it was like a flash happened and I saw all the way back to the thought. All the way back to the thought. And the thought that started the ball rolling. And I realized like, wow, I do not have the luxury of waiting to avoid this situation one more time and deal with it then. I do not have the luxury of that because it's been brought to my awareness. And my awareness is critical to my expansion. Because when I become aware of something, I have to address it now. Now is the all that is. And by recognizing that there is no death in acknowledging that, oh, I have another barrier, I have another wall, I have more resistance. Acknowledging that I have resistance and it's okay. I won't die from it. I can now process it in this now moment and release it. And so I've shared something extremely personal with you because I want you to know that there is no one exempt from this personal experience of growth through pain and suffering and letting go of the old and inviting in the new, and that we all do this work. Now, when I say work, I don't mean it's a job. I don't mean it's hard. It's just the process. It's the process. The work is the process. And when we recognize we can flow through it as though we are in the ocean laying on a surfboard, we can flow through it. We can just allow the waves to just lift us and flow, lift us and drop us and lift us and drop us. And at times we will get up on our board on our feet and we will ride the wave. And that is all, it's all fine. It's when we're fighting the waves that we find we get hurt. When we stand and brace against the waves is when we have issues. The flowing with it was never a problem. So I want you to consider this as you are going through your life journey in this now moment. Are you feeling resistance to anything? And if you are, is there a way to recognize the thought that came before the resistance, that came first? Is there a thought? And what is the thought? What is the thought? And what is the emotion that it triggers? What is the thought? You know, what is the, oh no, not again. Oh no, this person's calling me again. Oh, not again. Oh no, I lost my money again. Oh no, this back pain again. What is the oh no? And what came before it? What was the thought before it? Always go to the thought. Always go back to the thought. What was your thought that got you there in that moment? And now we're going to bring those thoughts into this now moment. We can't go back there. We have to only be in this present moment. So what is the now moment that you're bringing forward? I mean, not now moment. What is the thought that you're bringing into this now moment? And can you change and evolve that thought so it's now serving you now? I love this material. I love this so much. And this morning, in my process of flowing and accepting, I got brainstorms, I got creative expansion ideas. And that's what comes from this stuff, it may seem painful to address, a resistance that you have, but it's far more painful to hold on to it and see the world through the eyes of that resistance, because that's what happens. We end up judging everything through the eyes of not enough or lack or unworthiness or fear or anger. And then that's our perception of the world, and it's not serving anybody, least of all you. So it is time to just, even if these things seem innocuous, like a birthday, right? What's more innocuous than that? It's your hair, it's your whatever that you're judging. It's time to let it go. It's just time. And so anyway, I'm thinking how awesome this is that we have this ability to do this now. And I highly recommend doing it right now. I got to figure something out here. And here we are. It's the end of a show. Oh my gosh, I'm sending you so much love. Have a wonderful day and just do your best. Mwah.
Thank you for joining us on That Happiness Show. If you'd like more information or have questions, you can reach me at gemmafawcett.com or 401-699-6142. Private sessions are available as well as retreats. It is time to wake up and learn to love yourself again. Thank you for listening. This is Gemma Fawcett, host of That Happiness Show.